All right, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we have a special guest on the channel, Rawson Marshall Thurber. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You got it.
Awesome. I appreciate you being here today, man. I know you're a super busy guy. I guess we can go ahead and start by just let the people know, let the audience know kind of who you are, how long you've been in the business. Just give the people an idea of, who Rawson Marshall Thurber is.
Oh God, Cold. That's a tough one. Let's see. I've been doing this for a long time. 46 right now. I think I've been doing it since I was professionally since I was about 26. So about 20 years of writing and directing. I'm finishing up my sixth movie right now, so The Division will be my seventh. The first movie I made was a comedy that came out a long time ago. It starred Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn. It was called Dodgeball, about adults.
Love that movie.
Clearly you have exceptional taste in cinema. And so that was my first film. And then I made a bunch of movies in between. I made a movie called Mysteries of Pittsburgh, which is a tiny little drama. Made a comedy called We're the Millers. I made another comedy called Central Intelligence. My last movie was a movie called Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson. It's a big burning building. And then the one that I'm finishing up right now is for Netflix. It's called Red Notice, and it's a big action adventure comedy, sort of global heist picture that stars Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. And we're finishing that up right now. And then I'm hopefully gonna roll right into The Division with Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, looking forward to Red Notice. Seen Dodgeball, I've seen We're the Millers, I've seen most of those movies. So
cool.
Great job on those.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. So what we're gonna do here is I have a series of questions for you. Some of these are directly from me, and some are actually from my subscribers. Pulled some questions from them. I'm gonna give them a little shout out, and we can kind of go from there. I didn't want to give you too many questions because I don't want to take up too much of your time, like I said, but we can go ahead and get started. Now, the first one here, I think I may already know the answer to, but for the viewers, first question here is, are you a fan of the Division franchise, and have you played any of the games?
Oh God, this is the easiest question. Yes, I'm a massive fan of the Division 1 and 2. I was in line at E3 in I think it was 2013. I waited 3 hours in line just to see a glimpse of it, like the preview of it, where they just bring you into a room and they show you the game. And this is back when it's a lot. Some people don't know this, but at one point there was a plan to have the game extend to mobile platforms. So basically, you would be in the game playing, on your console or PC or whatever with your pals. I think at that point it wasn't even on PC; it was just console. And then if one of your buddies could be, in line at the grocery store on their, mobile and control a drone that could come in and lay cover fire for you. And then they're like, I got to go, bye. And they'd leave. And I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I fell instantly in love with the game and anxiously and eagerly counted down the minutes until it launched. And so I played the alpha of the Division and the beta, and then the game until my eyes, crossed. I played it so much. And then play the Division 2 as well, and love it. Play it every Tuesday night with three of my best buddies. It's sort of it's like a bowling league, but a gamer night. So every Tuesday night we all play together. We've been playing the Division for years and years and years, and it's something that is near and dear to my heart. And when the opportunity arose for me to pitch my case for why I should direct it, I was incredibly excited and got incredibly lucky, and they hired me. Thank goodness.
That's awesome, man. What has me really excited is you're obviously a fan of the franchise.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that a fan of the franchise is going to be directing the movie, right?
Yes. I don't think there's a bigger fan of the Division who's a professional Hollywood director. Like, I don't think that person exists. There is no better director for this movie than me. There are better directors. I can name quite a few if you'd like if you'd like me to do it. But there is no better director for this movie than me. I'm so excited about it. I'm gonna put it into the parking lot. I can't wait.
Awesome. That has me really hyped, man. I'm super excited for this movie. You have no idea. Like, I love the Division franchise. I have a whole YouTube channel based around it.
I know. It's great, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And also, it's nice to know that, being such a busy guy, you actually find the time to, and enjoy yourself and play, have a good time.
Well, it's thanks for noticing. It's really like I only have Tuesday nights from about 7 o'clock to 11 or midnight or whenever we're done. That's my one night. I turn off my phone. I don't think about anything else. And boy, it means so much to me to get to do it. And I love spending time in that world. And there's so much I love about the game itself, and so much about the game that I'm excited to bring to the feature film. I can't wait to get started.
Awesome. Perfect. Second question here is, so what is it about the Division universe that has you excited to bring it to life on the big screen?
I mean, that's a big question. And I think I could probably talk for 6+ hours about it, but I'll try to limit my response a little bit. So there's a lot that I love about the Division. And of course, the actual, cover-based co-op shooter stuff is great. Like the shoot 'em up, the whiz bang, all that stuff, they do it at an A+ level. It's a stunningly beautiful game to look at, to play in. No detail is left unthought of in that game. The designers and the artwork it's just second to none. I've never seen anything like it. And I go way back on Tom Clancy. Like I played Rainbow Six on PC, where you had to like plan you would plan out each team's approach and how they're going to bust into the consulate to save the whatever. I played Ghost Recon on PC with discs. Like I was rubbing 2 sticks together, back in the old days to play Tom Clancy stuff. So my love for Tom Clancy goes way, way back. But I guess what I love most about the Division, and this may sound a little corny, but part of what I love about it is that even when you're on these missions, right, whatever your mission, whether it's side mission or main mission, what have you, you're trying to help people, right? You're trying to get the power back on. You're trying to get the water returned. You're trying to, you're giving people sustenance, whether it's in Division 1 when you would give them a little bar or some water, and they'd give you, the 15th scarf that, that you had.
Yeah.
But I guess at its fundamental core, right, you're out there doing good. And that, I know, like I said, it might sound a little corny, but I think that, is one of the things I really love about it, that it's a game that's fundamentally about helping others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shouldn't be glossed over. Yes, it's fun. It's a shoot 'em up. It's got great graphics and great sound and all of that. But at its core, this is a question. It's a game that puts you in a position, if you so choose, to help people. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And I think there's a lot of heart in that. And that's what I love about the game. And then as it relates to the film itself, and please, Cold, stop me if I'm going on too.
No, please keep going, please.
Because I can do quite a bit.
Say whatever you need to say, man. We're all ears.
So the other part about it that I, in terms of telling the story, right, taking it from the game to the feature, is there's this fundamental question at the center of the concept of a game it's not a post-apocalyptic game. A lot of people make that mistake. This is not a post-apocalyptic game. This is a mid-crisis game, right? This is society is hanging on a knife's edge, and it's up to you to save it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fundamentally, that idea asks a really simple question, which is, what do we owe to each other in a society? What does one person owe another in a society? And I think that's a really powerful thematic question. When you are faced with a real choice, is your choice to help others or to help yourself? Are you selfless or selfish? And I think that kind of question, right? I think we all know that themes are essentially questions written differently, right? Mm-hmm. It's a question you have to ask yourself. And typically the best themes have the best questions can have 2 or more correct answers. And so when you talk about helping other people, whether you'd help be selfish or selfless, like, it's easy to say that in an armchair, but when you're really faced with that choice, right? Like, am I here to save my wife, my son, my daughter, my brother, my sister, right? Will I put their well-being above the greater good, or do I put the greater good above my own? And those are really powerful universal human questions. And I think that is really exciting to those themes, and those questions are really exciting to explore in a feature-length narrative. Now, that might sound academic or esoteric. Believe me, I'm neither. But having that kind of core thematic question working at the center of what's going to be a real kick-ass action film gives us a chance to do something special. And I think that's what we're planning on doing.
Fantastic answer. That's awesome. So would you say that's basically kind of like the whole theme of the movie? Basically kind of everything that you just mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really, if we do it right, and I plan on it, it's that fundamental question of what do we owe each other in a society? What are you willing to sacrifice, if anything, for the betterment of all?
Awesome.
And the fun, the tag of save what remains, right? Like, are we going to save what remains? Are we going to succeed in our mission or fail? There's this great book that I read, it's one of my favorite books I've read in, I don't know, probably a decade. It's called The British Are Coming, and it's by Rick Atkinson, who's a 2-time Pulitzer Prize winning author. And this is about the first of a planned 3-volume set about the American Revolution. And this is, I think, 1774 to 1777, I want to say, just the beginnings of the American Revolution. And it's a staggeringly beautiful read, just gripping on every page. I highly recommend it. Spoiler alert, we win, America exists, in case anybody doesn't know how it ends. But what's so fascinating about it, one of the many things, is that the American Revolution, and believe me, this is going to come to the vision in a second, this won't be a boring history lesson, but that essentially what it was a bunch of citizens standing up against the greatest army known to man at that time, the British Army, right? And we didn't have a trained standing army because we were colonists. So we had farmers and shopkeepers and cobblers and blacksmiths, and all of these people dropped their plowshares and picked up swords and picked up muskets and fought for something that they believed in, to create, indeed to save an idea of freedom, right? And that's part of what connects so strongly with me about the division, is that these people they're not trained military. These are all citizens. These are all citizen soldiers. These are people who signed up for a thing that they believed in. They probably thought it was never going to happen. And when their watch goes off, they let the toast burn and they walk out the door, and they walk into trouble to try to help. And they're the last line of defense. And to me, there's something incredibly patriotic, not American jingoistic patriotic, but incredibly patriotic about a citizen who will willingly walk toward danger to help others. And I think there's a lot to be drawn on from the American Revolution, which was also, depending on what side you're on, a mid-crisis moment, right? Like, this is a moment where we're either going to succeed and America is going to exist, the society we have in our mind is going to exist, or we're going to fail and it won't. And it's the same thing with the division. It's up to us, and there is no cavalry coming. We are our own cavalry. So there's a lot to dig in on in terms of the movie itself. But trust me, it's going to be fun. There's going to be gunfights too. I promise.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. It sounds like you're very passionate about the project, and there's a lot of depth to it. So yeah. That's awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question here. So how close will the movie be to the source material, and will any characters from the games make an appearance?
Great question. Very, very true to the source material. I know the game, like the back of my hand. I probably know too much about it. I think my wife would tell you that. So I think that it's definitely going to draw, heavily on the world that we all know and love. There's no question about that. In terms of characters from the game, I don't want to say too much, but there will certainly be recognizable characters from the game in the film. It might not be all the ones everybody wants, but it's probably going to be the ones that most people want. But I do think, I guess, at some point we should talk about, adapting a video game into a film and what those challenges are. But yeah, in terms of what we're hoping to do, we're hoping to focus on what the Division, the history and the ethos of the Division, and bring that to a feature film. And I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I love the game too much, and I want to make, the short answer, I suppose, Cold, is that I want to make a movie, by a fan for the fans. So there's no version of me trying to do something other than that.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Especially that last part, a fan making a movie for the fans. That's perfect. Awesome. Next question here is actually from one of my subscribers. His name is Gameplay Bros. He asked, is the movie going to cover the events in New York when the outbreak first started, Washington, D.C. 6 months later, or somewhere completely different?
Great question. I think our current plan is to focus on Division 1. So it would be the outbreak and New York, Manhattan.
Okay. Awesome. I figured, especially since everything you were mentioning, and you were focusing more on Division 1. So.
Yeah, I played Division 2. Like, I hung up my Division 1 spurs when Division 2 came out, and have only recently gone back to poke around in Division 1. But I think that, the hope, as you would with anything like this, is to start a story, to start a world. And this world and this story starts in Manhattan. And whether we're lucky enough to get to do a story in DC or, Heartlands, etc., we'll see. But right now we want to start at the beginning, and the beginning is Manhattan.
Awesome. Perfect. Next question here is from a subscriber and also a fellow content creator. If you love the Division, his name is Rogue Gold.
Oh, sure.
Makes fantastic videos, and he has a question for you. So his question here is, are there any elements of the Division world you believe can be adapted / translated better on film versus a video game alone?
Oh, wow. That's a really smart question, and a really tricky one to answer. Well, I mean, I guess, gosh, the game is so good. I don't know. Well, I guess I would say this. I would say that the way in which you experience a video game, right? The way in which you enjoy a video game is completely different than the way in which you experience and enjoy a feature film. They are not the same thing. They are two totally different art forms. They look very similar because they're visual, and there is story in video game and all of that. And there's great story in video games, but they're fundamentally unique art forms, or different art forms is maybe a better way of saying that. So I don't know. I think that what video games do really well, they do really well. And what feature films do really well, they do really well. And I don't think it works the other way. I don't think there's something that a movie does better than a video game, or a video game does better than a movie. They're totally different. When you play the Division, you're talking about, just on its base, like, you're talking about 100 hours minimum for a good game of experience, right?
Right.
And in a film, you're talking about 100 minutes. Like, they're totally different things. So you have to correct for that. And I don't think a video game should try to be a movie, and I definitely don't think a movie should try to be a video game, because you're gonna lose on both ends.
Awesome. Perfect. Appreciate that. Next question here is from another one of my subscribers. His name is Hookem Gaming. Is there plans to include a dark zone in the movie? If so, will the dark zone reflect the gritty, unforgiving, and dark nature, just like the games?
Oh, gee, hook 'em, right? Well, I think you'd be foolish to make a movie, a Division movie, and not have the dark zone in it. So I think everyone's gonna be happy with that. And I think it would be even worse still to make to put the dark zone in a film and then make it seem like anything other than what it should be.
Right, friendly place.
yeah, it's not. It's not. There's not going to be. It's not Candyland. Dark Zone is. I remember the first time I went into the Dark Zone playing the alpha, and I was terrified. Like I went in, it was snowy. I couldn't, it was like, there was a great sort of light effect coming off the sodium vapor lights. And I didn't know who to trust and what to do. And then these, 4 guys came around a corner with like gold shotguns and just absolutely killed me. And that was it. And then I went into a safe house, came back out, killed me again. I got griefed for like a half hour.
Right.
The Dark Zone. Yeah, I think the Dark Zone is one of my favorite. I mean, what an ingenious invention in a game, right? Like here's this area that's sort of PvP and sort of not PvP. And what's so great about the Dark Zone in the game itself is that you have your own moral compass to guide you, right? Like, are you going to betray your own team? Are you going to betray another player that you've just met? When you guys are hooking your stuff up on the chopper rope, like, you've got your hand hovering over your gun. Like, is this guy going to go? Then somebody does jumping jacks and we're cool. Everybody's cool. I love the Dark Zone. So the Dark Zone is an integral part of the Division, and doing the Dark Zone right is also important. So I think Hookem is going to be happy.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'm going to be happy too. I mean, you can't have a Division movie without the Dark Zone, right?
Oh, that would be silly.
Awesome. Perfect. Next question here is from another subscriber, Sabraso1. I think I'm saying it correctly. He's asking, what do you believe it takes? I think you mentioned this previously, but what do you believe it takes to successfully tackle the challenge of making a great movie based on a video game?
Yeah, I did touch on this a little bit, but at the risk of repeating myself, I think, look, the track record for adapting video games into film is not good, and I'm well aware of it.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, of course. But I don't think that means I don't think there's anything necessarily intrinsic to that adaptation that would cause a problem. Like I think there's a couple things going for the Division. One is that it's a real world situation, right? It's present, essentially present day Manhattan. Maybe it's 5 minutes in the future or whatever, but it's a recognizable place. So it's not like Azeroth or some other fantasy land version where where the uninitiated we have to explain so much to the uninitiated. And there's so much lore and so much history that a lay audience is going to get confused or overwhelmed, and your fan base audience will be like, yeah, we know, like, well, come on, man, like, don't spoon for me. I play the game, I know everything about it. So the fact that the Division is present day with a really clear premise, right? This sort of viral pandemic, which we're all too familiar with, unfortunately, is a leg up. The other thing that's really, I think, valuable, which gets missed often, is unlike, say, Halo, right, or Red Dead 1 or 2, in the Division, you don't play as someone else. You're not playing as Master Chief, right? Mm-hmm. You are playing as yourself. You're playing as your gamer tag, right? So you experience this world as your own person. And therefore, when you're adapting it as a feature, you're not beholden to creating, there's not some iconic, Metal Gear Solid, hero, right? There is no pre-made character in the video game that you then have to cast toward and write toward and follow, right? You're creating your own characters, your own story in this world of the Division. And I think that lends itself to being able to tell a much less encumbered or unencumbered story. So I think those two things alone give us a big leg up in adapting a video game to a feature. And also, Tom Clancy's world is so grounded and it's so authentic that it feels real anyways. So I think we're in good shape there. And then the other thing I'll say is, like, we've got Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal attached to play the two leads in this film. And there's, there are not two better actors on the planet. And so we're already spoiled. We're starting on third base. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. And those guys, both of them, are just so passionate about about this particular project and this particular story.
Awesome.
I talk to them every week about it, where they're fully engaged and can't wait to get it going. So I think, look, is there a chance we won't make a good movie? Sure, there's always a chance, but I like our chances of making a really good movie. I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, especially what the Division is based around. It's somebody's story. And like you said, there's no main character in the game. The character is you. So your movie is based upon specific character or characters and their story. It can be any type of story because there's tons and tons of Division agents. Yeah. So I am on the exact same page as you. I definitely agree.
Well, and I also think you see a lot of the fans make their own sort of short fan films about the Division. And I think that speaks exactly to that feeling, that umbilicus that the players have with the world, right? Because when you're playing, you feel like it's you, right? I feel like it's me. And I think that's why people like to cosplay as the Division. There's not a lot of video games that have such a robust, cosplay group. And I think that's because people feel connected to the story as though they were living it. And I think that's a huge compliment to the game designers, to Ubisoft and everybody involved in telling that story. They've done such a great job of creating this inviting sort of sandbox and toy box together that it's just hard to not see yourself in that. Plus you get all the different clothes you want, there's the jackets, and you can dress up your man Barbie or girl Barbie however you want, so that's a lot of fun too.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that has me even more excited. So awesome.
Good.
Next question here is from another subscriber, fellow content creator. His name's Identity. Great guy. I know him personally. He makes a lot of awesome Division 2 content, so I definitely check him out.
Right on.
His question to you, and actually I like this question. Do you have plans to introduce the origin of the Hunters, something we never knew since the inception of the Division franchise?
That is a very smart question. And trying to figure out how to answer this without giving away too much. So I guess I would say that I think the Hunters are incredibly, not only an incredibly cool and scary part of the Division, but also incredibly kind of important to that story, and that mystery of them, of who they are and where they came from and why they're here, is one that I have that same question of like, who are these guys? So that's something that I'm really interested in exploring in the feature film, and can't say more than that, but I'll say that I think it's a very good question, and it's something I'm taking really seriously.
Awesome. It's okay. You can tell me more on the side.
I will. I'll tell you when we stop recording. I'll spill the beans.
Okay. Awesome. Good deal. Perfect. So we have about 3 questions left.
Great.
Next question here is, which factions from the games will be introduced in the movie?
I don't know if I want to get too into the specifics because we're still, we're still figuring out the story. We have a pretty good take on what it's going to be, but it's still, with any piece of creative art, you're always changing and finding and learning.
Things change.
Right? So I'd hate to say like it's these guys, and then the movie comes out and they're like, hey, what the hell? But I mean, I think it's safe to say that we're focusing on the world of Manhattan and Division 1 to kick things off, and I think that any of those factions in that space are in play, and I think. And they're all anybody in Division 1 is in play. I won't say we're going to do every single one, but we're trying to honor that story as best we can.
All right, fair enough.
Was that slippery enough? I don't want to. I don't want to say
too much. Fair enough with me.
All right, cool.
Next question here. Will the movie include skills just like the game?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Easy question, easy answer.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Yes.
Right. Because I'd be really disappointed if it didn't.
Can I just say duh? Like, yeah, of course.
Right. I think that's why a lot of video game movies get the hate that they do, because some people take out those those important things. You know what I mean? Like if you were to make a Division movie with no skills, no Dark Zone,
No,
it wouldn't do the people justice.
no, you can't. No. Please thank whoever asked that question, and there will absolutely be skills, without question. You can't make, like let's not call it the Division then. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. Very last question here. Are there any plans to make sequels or TV shows in the future?
Not that I'm aware of. I think everybody wants to make one really, really good movie, which is hard enough. The one thing I would say is that the world is so rich and the story is so deep that if we do one good one, like who's to say what's next? Like, I would hope there would be another film. I would hope there would be I hope it would, hope we could spin it off into a series. Like these are all things that I would love, but I've heard nothing about that. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean it is going to happen. All I can say is my complete sole focus is on making the greatest Division movie in the history of recorded time. That is the bar. And everything else after that will be after that. But right now the focus is how do we make a great first movie, a movie that's so good that we have to make another one, and we have to make a series, and we have to make and that opens up all these other doors. And my hope is when we finish making this movie and people get to see it, that fans like me and fans like you go, fuck yeah, that's the movie I wanted. And people who have never played the game watch the movie and go, that was great. Oh my God, there's a game too, right? Like that's how this has to work.
Yeah.
It has to satisfy the hardcore fans like me and like you, and it has to satisfy people who don't own a console and have never heard of any of this. And that can be done, and we will do it.
Yeah, I'm really excited because so let's say, for example, the movie does really well and they're like, hey, Rawson, we want a Division 2 movie.
Yeah.
Are you up for it?
Hell yeah. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Try to stop me. You'd have to kill me. Of course.
Awesome.
I'd love to do it.
Awesome. Yeah. I do have one more question. It's not on the list, but what are your overall thoughts of just the future of the Division Heartland, Mobile, maybe Division 3 in the future, all this stuff coming?
Look, I'm stupidly excited about Heartlands. Like I have no idea what it is or what it's going to be. I've got my own sort of armchair guess. But
I'll let you know after we stop the recording.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Please tell me if you know. I'll keep it quiet. I know nothing about it other than I can't wait to play it. And yeah, I can't wait for there's, new Division 2 content coming, of course. And in Division 3, I guess I would love to see Division 3 set in Paris or some other city that's not US based, just to shake it up a little bit. Yeah, I love the game. I love the game so much. And what's always weird to me is people who go who talk shit about the game, and they're like, yeah, I played like 100 hours of this game, and and it sucks. And I'm like, dude, you just played 100 hours of this game.
Yeah, you got your money's worth.
Yeah, and then some. It's so good. And I can understand like wanting more because it's that good. But that sort of, I always kind of roll my eyes about that. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to read the novel. I heard there's a novel coming out. Yeah, but Heartland, if tell me after we stop recording.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions we had today. I guess we can end off just any message you want to give to the audience before we finish the video. Anything, any final words, last words, or anything?
No, I really appreciate your time and your interest. And I guess I just want to let the community know that, I'm not going to let you down. I'm here to make a great movie. I'm a fan, and it's going to be great.
Awesome. Well, Rawson, thank you so much for being here, man. Everybody watching, thank you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new. We got tons of Division content coming in the future. Hopefully more interviews with Rawson. Who knows? But appreciate you guys watching. Peace out, guys.